Hello and good day, my fellow travelers and backpackerinos. Welcome to the first ever episode of On the Road at the Speed of Mike. A follow-up to my Around the World at the Speed of Mike series. So my last round the world trip ended a little more abruptly than I expected. I wanted to do a little more North America stuff, but ended up getting sick, so I didn't. And I'm going to make up for it on this set of videos, which is just going to be kind of a Great American Road Trip kind of deal. Except, it's not going to start in America, it's going to start in Canada. And not just any Canada, French Canada. Oh, bonjour! Comment allez-vous, frère Jacques? So in this first video, we're going to explore Montreal in Quebec, Canada, and its old world French charm. So, why should you visit Montreal? Montreal is a true anomaly on the North American continent. While English and Spanish have come to dominate the Americas, there's still a few pockets of French-speaking population scattered about. Of these, none truly captures the culture and feel of its colonial progenitor like the French-speaking province of Quebec. While it's not the oldest or most traditional city in the region, Montreal is the largest metropolitan area in the province. Because of this, it manages to deliver a fair amount of history and culture along with all the novelties and distractions of a modern city, offering a little something for everyone. Also, it has a large English-speaking population, so you won't feel completely off-continent if that's an issue. So what are the top things to see in Montreal? Number one's easy, the Notre Basilica in Montreal. While the outside's nice and I really do love the statues in the square, the church's exterior isn't much to write home about. The interior, on the other hand, that's a different story. While it shares some similarities and obviously the name of the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, the structure and especially the inside is completely different. With a unique color scheme and extensive, intricately detailed ornamentation, this church really stands out. If the aesthetic wasn't already enough to set it apart, it also features stained glass windows that depict Montreal's history. This local homage really pushes the location into a higher class while still maintaining the typical iconography found in most Catholic churches you'd see in North America. And while churches aren't really the be-all, end-all reason to visit anywhere, this place embodies the area and locale better than anything, and you definitely want to get a fridge magnet of it. Notre Dame Basilica is found in Old Montreal. This is the oldest part of the city and it has the highest concentration of old colonial era buildings. While it's kind of your typical touristy colonial old town filled with shops and cobblestone streets, it's definitely got a few real architectural gems thrown about, like this beauty right here. If you want some really touristy poutine, like that's French fries with gravy and meat, get it here. Otherwise, it's all over the city in many different forms. The old Port Promenade makes for a pleasant stroll along the St Laurence River and Lachine Canal. There's a clock tower toward the end and it's really not particularly interesting, but it makes for a good endpoint for the walk. You get to see the whole span of it, the whole historic area. There's a science center and a maritime museum in this area as well. I skipped both of them. I don't know if you should check them out or not, but they're there if you want something more to do. Mount Royal is the highest point in Montreal, and I love it when cities have enough geographic character to have something like this literally in the heart of the city. It's good for a light hike, and it offers a great view of the surroundings if you make it up to the Mount Royal Chalet, where you can reward yourself for your very easy hike with a cafe and brioche. There's plenty of paths through shaded forest as well as your typical recreational parks scattered about, and they're really picturesque and well thought out. I thought it was very pleasant, at least in the fall. Toward the west end of the park, you'll find St. Joseph's Oratory of Mount Royal. This is a pretty impressive structure from the outside, a little less so inside. It's kind of the opposite of the nearby Notre Dame Cathedral. Still, it's fairly extensive inside, and it actually has crypts, which is kind of cool. There's several prominent neighborhoods in Montreal. There's Chinatown, Little Italy, but you can really find these all over the world, and while they're still worth visiting, I think the area around Square St. Louis and Rue Denis features some of the best residential housing from Montreal's heyday. And it's really just kind of the quintessential Montreal neighborhood as far as I can tell. Mcgill University is another interesting spot. The school was founded in the early 1800s, and it's got kind of that Harry Potter, Edinburgh look to a lot of its buildings, that castle-y kind of feel. So you might want to walk through there if it's in between any of the other destinations you're checking out in the city, like Notre Dame and Mount Royal. It's right in between those two. And downtown is downtown. There's some big buildings, malls, stores, St. Mary, Queen of the World Cathedral, the convention center, and a few parks are worth walking through along the way. And there's some cool street art installations here as well as throughout the city. Now, when should you go? Like the rest of the Northeast, fall is picturesque, still somewhat mild and cheaper than summer when most of the outdoor life is flourishing in the city. But I think winter is actually the best time to go if you can brave the sub-zero temperatures. With its European flair, Montreal and not too distant Quebec City, which we'll get to in the next episode, are actually awesome places to check out Christmas markets. And you can really get kind of the European Christmas atmosphere without actually hopping the pond over to Europe. I mean, assuming you're from the Americas. Also, shortly after, they put on a pretty epic winter festival in both cities. There's like ice skating in the St. Laurence River, and there's all kinds of like ice sculptures and any kind of snow stuff, really. And I think either of these locations are unique and grand enough to warrant, braving those extreme temperatures. So that was Montreal. Up next, we're going to head up the St. Lawrence River north to Quebec City.